Hey, this is MotherMantiss. I'm back with another video. Today, I'm going to take a look at Exodus, Become the Traveler, which is an upcoming sci-fi RPG coming from Archetype Entertainment. Frankly, it's at the top of my most anticipated games. I think in my old age, I'm getting picky because there just aren't very many games that really appeal to me right now, but Exodus is one of them. Anyway, it's set in kind of a far future galaxy that's been kind of shaped by the collapse of Earth and the rise of a post-human, very evolved civilization, and the mystery of a spreading kind of a techno-organic threat called the Rot. So there's also a companion novel called The Archimedes Engine by Peter Hamilton. It adds a ton of depth to the game world and the universe, especially when it comes to the political factions and the cultural friction between the factions. So let's take a look at what we know about the game from the promotional materials that have been released as well as the book. In this universe, Earth is long gone. Humanity's remnants have basically scattered across space, and many have found a new home in the Centauri cluster, which is a dense region with dozens of habitable worlds. The first settlers to arrive here were not just looking to survive. They actually used advanced genetic engineering and neural enhancements to deliberately evolve into something more. And over generations, they evolved to become what is now called the Celestials. The Celestials are a class of sort of post-humans who see themselves not just as advanced humans, but as superior to humans. Their dominions are sleek and powerful and very ancient feeling. Places like the Crown Dominion, which is ruled by celestial queens, operate under a system called the Imperial Accord. That's a legal framework that holds the dominions together through alliances, governance, and ritualized power sharing. Their society is deeply formalized, and it's focused on hierarchy, tradition, and what they call the ascent of reason. So when slower arc ships from Earth start arriving in the Centauri cluster, arc ships that left Earth at the same time, but for whatever reason were delayed and now are arriving sometimes tens of thousands of years later, they are arriving carrying baseline humans who haven't undergone any enhancement. The Celestials don't exactly throw a welcome party. Instead, they really see these arrivals as primitive, useful, but definitely not equals. These quote-unquote normal humans are referred to as Uranics, and they're quickly absorbed into Celestial society, but only at the very bottom of society. They're mostly treated as second-class citizens. They're used as laborers. They work in mining colonies or agricultural systems that are completely controlled by the Dominion bureaucracy. So that social divide between the evolved Celestials and the unmodified humans is central to both the novel and the game. This is a world that's been shaped by deep inequality and a lot of unspoken and spoken tension. You play as June Aslan, someone who is uniquely positioned to bridge that divide. June is the child of Orion Aslan, who is a legendary human-born traveler, and a female called Ava, who is a high-ranking celestial. Very uncommon pairing. That hybrid background, though, makes June incredibly rare, capable of understanding both sides of the societal rift, but also not fully accepted by either side. More importantly, June has access to what's called neural induction. It's a kind of interface that allows him or her to operate ancient celestial technologies that others simply cannot. The story begins on the moon Lydon, a community which has been founded by Orion that's now under threat from a spreading corruption known as the Rot that's organic, but it's also technological. So their father is missing and their home is in danger, so June has to set out to uncover what happened and figure out what it means to be a traveler in a world that's slowly being devoured from within. As June, you'll travel with a crew of characters drawn from across social and political spectrum. Not all of the companions have been revealed yet, but the two that have are Tom Vargas, who's a hardened engineer with a grounded sort of an outlook. He's kind of a fix-it guy. And then there's Elise Charot, who on the other hand is a scientist who's very idealistic. And these companions are not just there for flavor, they're absolutely core to the story. Their loyalty, trust, and growth will all depend on how you interact with them. The game also leans heavily into long-form relationships. Because of an effect called time dilation, which frankly deserves its own video and which probably will get its own video, missions might last for years or decades for the people that you've left behind. That means when you return, people may have aged, they may have changed, they may have moved on entirely, they may have passed on entirely. That means it gives weight to your choices, both in action and in absence. One of the characters that's been revealed is a character called Cece Orlev. That's the character that's voiced by Matthew McConaughey. He functions as kind of a mentor figure. I think he's probably also somewhat of a narrator. He's, witty, insightful, maybe a little crazy. His dialogue, though, suggests that he's going to challenge your assumptions rather than just hand you exposition. Travelers in this universe are something of a mix between adventurer, archaeologist, peacekeeper, and, frankly, lawbreaker. They explore ruins from the Remnant era, which is a forgotten time that's filled with god-tier tech, and they kind of try to keep the balance between these various fractured civilizations. And June is not just taking up this mantle because it sounds interesting. So obviously for him, it's personal. Orion, his father, was one of the most respected travelers in the cluster, and Orion's disappearance is both mystery and motivation for June. Taking up Orion's role means entering a world of danger, of secrets, and crazy, impossible decisions. So some of the tech that June will encounter includes remnant constructs, derelict archives, and hidden vaults that are tied to the old world that's gone. Many of these places require something called neural induction to unlock. Very few people have neural induction, and this makes June one of the only people capable of navigating them. Regarding the book, Exodus, the Archimedes Engine, the book gives us lots of clues about what's coming in the game. In the book, we follow Finn, who is a Uranic kid born into the celestial-dominated world. He dreams of becoming a traveler, even though basically everything is stacked against him because of the family into which he's born. And the book is full of details that I think might surface in the game. There are locations like Dola, the gas giant that's full of floating cities. There are creatures like Kafets, which are massive aerial grazers, which are used for farming and transport, and materials like limestone, which is a building material that's kind of smart. It's a kind of a silicate that reshapes itself over time and can be shaped by those who have neural induction powers. And at the center of all of this is the Archimedes engine, which is a mysterious structure with the ability to actually shift planetary orbits. Again, needs its own video. It's not really concerned whether the Archimedes engine appears in the game, but its presence in the lore, I think, suggests that it's more than just background flavor. I think it is going to play a pretty prominent role in the game. And from what we know, Exodus blends narrative exploration with real-time third-person combat. So you'll face enemies who've been infected by the rot, you'll uncover ancient tech, and navigate factional politics through conversation and various moral choices. Then, of course, there's a mix of exploration, puzzle solving, and relationship building. Time dilation, as I said, is probably going to be a major mechanic. When you travel between systems, years pass. So when you return, things might not be anything like you left them. So yeah, I think Exodus is shaping up to be something special. And it's being developed by Archetype Entertainment, a studio which was founded by former BioWare developers, the ones that were behind the original Mass Effect and Dragon Age. And it's currently, as I said, targeting a 2026 release. And between the book and the lore and the promotional material we've seen so far, I think it's shaping up to deliver something really special. So if you like choice-driven games with rich world building, long-term consequences, and a really great and immersive sci-fi setting, one of the few games right now that I'm really kind of excited to do videos about. I hope it's on your radar too. Anyway, let me know what you think if you're excited for the game, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye.